Hello internet, Rishi here to teach you how to live. Right, I haven't made a video in a while. Actually that's not true because I made one last week. But before that I hadn't made a video in a while, and so I said to you that I was going to talk to you about that. So the reason that I haven't made a video in a long time is because recently I've been personally suffering with sort of some anxiety issues. You know, in my past I've suffered with depression, and more recently I started suffering with anxiety, which I hadn't ever really never really been through it before, so it's something new for me. And so I was trying to figure out a way to deal with it, and I wasn't making videos because I felt, well, it's a bit difficult for me to come on here and say, you know, I am Rishi here to teach you how to live and all that nonsense if I really wasn't able to function myself. So I thought it's something that I needed to get through before I could come back and make some more videos. And so it's probably a good place to start though, because I'm sure lots of people out there suffer with depression, anxiety, and I'm grouping those two things together. But let me tell you, as somebody that's gone through them both, they are similar, but they're also very, very different. Very, very different things to go through, and anyone that's been through it will know that. I think for me, what happened was this year I injured my shoulder. I've had shoulder problems in the past, but I injured my shoulder, and that took me some time to recover from. And then I injured my leg, which was quite a bad injury, and that took me quite a while to recover from, although I still haven't fully recovered. And those two things actually contributed, I think, to me feeling down and to me feeling anxious. I think for me, a lot of my mechanisms, so when I'm feeling down, one of my mechanisms to feeling better is to, one, eat healthy. And I think that's very important regardless. You know, eating healthy is really important for your well-being, I think. But then also being active, going to the gym or doing things like physical activities, which for me, like I said, was one of my mechanisms to get myself out of downturns, you know, when you're not feeling so good. And when I wasn't able to do that, I struggled to find other mechanisms. So I realised I think I relied on those two things too much. But then I started feeling, like I said, I started feeling anxious, and the anxiety is so much, how can I explain? It's very different from feeling depressed, because feeling depressed, you know, you feel low. But the anxiety, it gave me actually physical symptoms. Like I felt like dizzy at times, or I felt like like my heart was coming out of my chest, or I felt like I was, you know, I couldn't breathe. And I really had to go into my head and think to myself, well, actually, I didn't think I was feeling anxious, but yeah, I was. And so I thought I'd talk to you about the type of things that I did to sort of get over that. I remember, so for me, what's one of the things I did? So one of the things that really, really helped me, so there's two things really, and I think it's important for everyone else out there to know this. You know, if you are feeling down, or if you are feeling anxious, whatever it is, I think the most important thing is to identify that that's what's happening, and to, on some level, just accept it and go through it. Because like I said, for me, one of the things that really got me was when I realised what was happening to me. When I realised, oh shit, I'm starting to feel depressed, or I'm starting to feel down. That very concept in your mind can actually make you more anxious, can make you more depressed. And I think a good way to deal with it is to first of all just accept it and think, well, okay, I'm feeling down today, or I'm feeling depressed today, or this week, or this month, or however long it takes, and don't dwell on it. And it's very, very easy to say don't dwell on it, but and it's much, much harder to do. But it's very, very important. Like just accept it and think, okay, well, this is what you got to go through. This is what it is. Okay, and try your best to move forward. You know, I think that's very, very important. The acceptance of it, and it's not as taboo as people think. Like, you know, it's for me to come out here and talk about it. There's a part of me that thinks, oh, do I really want people to know? Do I really want to tell people this? And maybe they'll think differently of me. I don't know, maybe you will. But it's not that uncommon. It's normal. I think I function better than most people, actually. Just I accept that there are things, you know, that I go through things just like anyone else does. But the acceptance is key. One of the things that the second thing that I've done recently, which I had never really done before, you know, I've started to sort of get into spirituality, which is kind of weird for somebody like me in respect, like, you know, I'm an atheist, don't believe in God. I still don't know that I do, but my attitude on spirituality, I've become a lot more open-minded. You know, I've been doing a lot of reading about like physics concepts and how they're quite similar to this, you know, spirituality and like the spiritual concepts. And so one thing that I started to do was to stop focusing, because when you're feeling down or you're feeling anxious, it's very easy to start focusing on the things that you don't have, and you know, and on the negative side of things. So what I started to do is I started to focus on the things that I did have, and it wasn't easy actually. Initially, it was like I had to like force myself to focus on the things that I had, and to be grateful for it. So it's the gratefulness that I needed to teach myself. But it was very good for me actually. I really recommend it to anybody. Just go inside your own mind, think about the things that you are grateful for, the things that you do have, and you know, maybe there are some people that have probably got more to be grateful for than others, but that doesn't mean you find it somewhere. You know, it could be anything. It could be that, you know, we live in a country in England. We live in a country where you're probably not going to starve. Worst comes to worst. I don't know. You're quite safe. You're probably not going to get gunned down on the street. I don't know. Well, it's very difficult for me to tell you guys actually what you should find grateful in your own lives. But look inside your own lives. Look inside your own families and in your own hearts, and start finding things to be grateful for, and then focus on those things. Like I said, some people will find it easier than others, and some people have a hard life. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying it doesn't benefit you to focus on the negative side of things. So find things in your life to feel grateful for and focus on them. Literally keep thinking about them. Keep generating those feelings within you of, okay, what I mean is generate the feelings within you of the things that you want to feel. So you want to feel happy, so you can generate those feelings. But it doesn't happen straight away, and you sometimes need to work at it. But work at it, and it is definitely worth it. I mean, I can say for me, it really helped me. First of all, just change my mindset and stop me from focusing on negative. And it wasn't easy initially, but once I started to do it regularly, it pulled me straight out of it, and I felt much better straight away. And you know, if you are into the spirituality, then the concept is that when you're focusing on things that you're grateful for, then the universe will attract those things towards you. And whether you believe in that, it's up to you. I'm not here to sort of challenge your beliefs on things like that, but certainly that's the theory. I think it's true, but even if it isn't, it's not the point. The point is that it will help you in your own mind, I promise you. So yeah, that's me talking about anxiety, depression, gratefulness. These are things that I think we all go through. Some people go through them probably more severely than others, but I think we all go through them. Maybe I don't go through as severely as some other people. I'm sure, in fact, I know I don't. But I think it's very it's a subject people don't really like to talk about, I think, but it's important, and we should talk about it, and we should support one another. It's common these days, you know. It's really common, you know. What was I reading? Like, one of the biggest killers of young men these days is suicide. How crazy is that? People feel so down that they feel there's no way out. There's a problem there, and I think we need to talk about it more and be more understanding about it, and not judge so much. So okay, this is me signing off. I never know how to end these things.